Probably not going to talk about that. I'm not going to torture you. I know your donors hate this when I say that. And also Epstein was in the news, and it was clear to me that, Epstein's probably not like a Mossad agent or something, but Epstein clearly had contact with Israeli intelligence and American intelligence and French intelligence, but the only one you're not allowed to talk about is Israeli intelligence. But it seemed true to me, and I had done some work on that. I knew a bunch of people pretty close to that story, so I thought that. And I said that to Charlie, and I said, but I'm not going to say that because I don't want to make your donors mad. I know it's just going to be like an endless flurry of text telling you to stop or you're going to lose a bunch of funding. And he looked at me, I'll never forget it, and said, go all the way. Do it. Go all the way. I said, man, a lot of things I can talk about. I don't need to talk about that. And he said, do it. So I did it. By the way, I think that conversation, he had a mic on, and so did I, probably exists somewhere on somebody's server, but that's, I think, a faithful rendition of what he said. And by the way, I'm not trying to blame him for my remarks. You can agree or disagree with those remarks, but I'm saying this only because I was shocked and sickened by the reaction of the ghoulish and really repulsive reaction of the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, to Charlie's death. Basically made it all about him and all about his country. Immediately trying to take the energy, the sadness, the grief that people felt over Charlie's murder and redirect it towards support for whatever project he's involved in. And by the way, Benjamin Netanyahu is not the same as the nation of Israel at all. Bibi is despised by many people in Israel, and if you know people who live there, you know that that's true. There are huge divisions within the Israeli government. I mean, there are certain parts of the intel world in Israel that do not support some things that Benjamin Netanyahu has done recently. So it's not the same as attacking Israel, attacking Bibi, but I don't think I've ever seen anything lower than his attempt to hijack Charlie's memory and use it for his own political ends, particularly because what he said was completely untrue. Charlie didn't hate Jews. He loved Jews. He had tons of friends who were Jews. He loved the state of Israel. He loved going there. He did not like Bibi Netanyahu, and he said that to me many times, and he said it to people around him many times. He felt that Bibi Netanyahu was a very destructive force. He was appalled by what was happening in Gaza. He was, above all, resentful that he believed Netanyahu was using the United States to prosecute his wars for the benefit of his country, and that it was shameful and embarrassing and bad for the United States, and he resented it. Didn't hate Netanyahu. He wasn't out there with a placard saying that, but he certainly expressed that to me and a lot of other people. And there's no question that Bibi's defenders on the internet will call me a liar or a kook, but that's a fact. And enough text messages exist that I think it can probably be verified in pretty short order. Not that it needs to be, because that is true. Shortly after that speech, there was a very intense attack on Charlie, and to some extent on me, not that I really noticed. But on him, I have no donors. He had $100 million worth of donors. And so, because he was involved in a different project from just yapping on the internet, which is what I do for a living, he was dependent to a great extent on his donors, of course. It's a nonprofit. And they went after him and tormented him. Not all, of course. Many were supportive, but the ones who were offended by my speech, and there was a small, very intense group who were, tormented Charlie Kirk until the day he died. 2 days before he died, he lost a $2 million donation because he had publicly pledged to bring me to the next Turning Point conference in December. And he told me over the past couple of months that he was losing a lot of donations over that pledge. They put out a flyer basically saying that I was going to be at this event giving a speech. And so he would text me and say, man, I'm really taking a lot of heat for this, and people are really mad. The American Jewish Committee called in a statement Charlie Kirk an anti-Semite and, quote, dangerous. Charlie Kirk, an anti-Semite. Yeah. He was not an anti-Semite. He was the opposite, and he was not dangerous. He was a great lover of people and a purveyor of peace. He was the opposite, and he was very stung by that. Those of us who've been called names for a long time are a little bit harder to offend. Charlie was deeply offended by that and expressed some of those feelings on Megyn Kelly's show and in other places. But that did not let up. The reason I'm telling this story is because he called me and then came to see me at my house about this topic. And I said to him every single time, look, I've got my own way to communicate my views. This is actually not the most important issue to me. There are lots of things I can talk about. I don't need to come to Turning Point. I can take a year off, no problem. I hated seeing how much he was suffering, the hassle he was getting from people, and I was being attacked too. By the way, it was a huge effort. I wasn't fully aware of it, actually, because I don't go online that much, but there was a huge effort by people, some of whom I know and have helped, and like Seth Dillon of the Babylon Bee, for example, someone who had his own problems with free speech, who was famously canceled. And I like Seth Dillon. I had him on a couple of times. I had dinner with him to show support. Seth Dillon was out there demanding that Charlie Kirk take me off the roster, pull me off stage, because I had said things that Bibi didn't like or that he didn't like or whatever. Shocking that someone whose whole persona is wrapped up in the idea that we all get to speak, and if you don't like it, make a more compelling case, that person and many others like him were advocating for me getting pulled off the stage because they don't like what I'm saying. This is a trend, and one that we should be really concerned about. It's not just about Israel, by the way, at all. The trend is really simple. People with power don't want to hear disagreement. They don't want to be challenged, ever. That's why we have free speech, to acknowledge that even those of us or people with less power still have a right to talk because they're human beings. You don't own them. So time after time, Charlie would call me or come to see me and let me know, wow, or show me text messages. These people are really mad that you're speaking. And I would always have the same thought, like, I feel pretty moderate, actually. I've never been an Israel hater. Obviously, I'm not an anti-Semite. I just don't want more wars, and I don't want a foreign country humiliating my country and telling us what our laws have to be. I mean, this seems like pretty basic America First stuff, and he would say, I totally agree with you, but they want you off the stage. And I would always say, no problem. And he would say, no, it's important. It's a matter of principle. I want you to be there. Great. By the way, I'm not accusing anyone of being involved in that murder. I'm not trying to mutter darkly or imply anything. There's a lot we don't know about who murdered Charlie and why, but I don't know, and I'm not going to pretend that I do. But I think it's important to say that out loud because it's a fact, and there are many liars out there Bibi Netanyahu, number one among them, shamefully, who are trying to distort the truth, a truth that I know and can prove.
Hello, welcome back to Clown World Order, and we got a lot to get into today. That was Tucker Carlson talking about Charlie Kirk and his stance on Israel. Today I woke up and I felt like a trans man. That's what I felt like. I don't know about you, but I felt like a trans man. I don't need any surgery. I could just put on a wig, go in the girls' bathroom, beat up some women in sports. I could do all that. That's what I feel like doing. God, these people are deranged. You know what I felt like also when I woke up? I felt like a black lady. Yes, I did. Yo, what up? What up? Yeah, I felt like a black lady. But we got a lot to get into today. We have the text messages have been released. I am going to give you my take on it. It's definitely doctored to some degree. All right? I forgot the guy's name. What's the trans man's name? The lover? My love. Let me look it up real quick. Oh, my love. It's a name. Oh, my love. That's from the text. What 22-year-old talks about that? Oh, Lance Twigs. God, what a horrible name. Jesus. All right, so we got the text between Tyler Robinson and Lance Twigs. Yes, we do. Let me just get back here. All right. So I am going to give you my take on it. Let me pull up. It's easier if I just read it off my phone. I saved I think the beginning of it's cut off, but I watched other people's reactions to it, and so the beginning of it I think is just he left a note under the keyboard in his room, or something like that. And then after reading the note, the roommate responded, "What? You're joking, right?" And then Robinson said, "I am still okay, my love, but am stuck in Orem for a little while longer. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep that secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you. What is this? Some kind of romance novel? Jesus." And then the roommate, Twigs, Mr. Twigs, "You weren't the only one who did it, right? You weren't the one who did it, right?" Robinson, I'm sorry. Roommate, "I thought they caught the person." Robinson, "No, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of the side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out. But there's one vehicle lingering." I mean, who wrote this? Like, come on. We go from a romance novel into some kind of thriller. They're locked down and there's one vehicle lingering. It's lingering. What kind of 22-year-old talks like that? For one, that generation is so poisoned with chemicals that they don't even know what the word lingering means, all right? Especially a far leftist Antifa member. They don't know what that word means, all right? They do not talk like that. They be like, "Yo, what up? What up, cuz?" You know, even white people nowadays talk like that. That's what they be like. And then I want to point out, so I don't forget my points, I want to point out, if he's on the run, how does he know they grabbed some crazy old guy that magically was there talking about 9/11 when 9/11 happened, but then they grabbed him for this too? That does not make sense to me, but hey, what do I know, you know? I'm a conspiracy theorist, right? And then the roommate, "Why?" Robinson, "Why did I do it?" Roommate, "Yeah." Robinson, "I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I'm able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it." So you're checking your news while you're on the run after committing a public assassination. You're just magically, scrolling through the news. Oh, yeah, get off the roof, change your clothes, scroll the news, put together the rifle, dismantled the rifle. Man, the FBI thinks we're dumb. They think we're a bunch of dummies. Roommate, "How long have you been planning this?" Robinson, "A bit over a week, I believe. I can't get close to it, but there's a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it." Robinson, "I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring it back. Grandpa's rifle. I don't know if I had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace back to me. I worry about prints. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits. Didn't have the ability over time to bring it with. I might have abandoned it and hope they didn't find Prince. How the fuck will I explain losing it to my old man? The only thing I left was a rifle wrapped in a towel. Remember how I was engraving the bullets? The fucking messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notices bulge UWU on Fox it should be news. I might have a stroke. All right, I'm gonna have to leave it. That really fucking sucks. Man, they think we're really dumb. Who believes that crap? All right, I do believe a lot of people celebrating the assassination are pretty much terrorists that want war with us, the normal people. But one thing we can agree on is the leftists don't buy these messages and we don't buy these messages. I mean, geez, they think we are dumb. And I do want to point out that a lot of conservative influencers and politicians, except Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson and Alex Stein, I believe, because he was crying on the day after the assassination, don't seem to be grieving a whole lot, you know? And they seem to be buying this official narrative. So, I don't know. Those text messages definitely are fishy. I mean, they think we're in some kind of romance thriller novel with those, don't they? But, alright. So, what do I want to talk about? Well, yeah, these text messages are bullshit. Obviously, Candace Owens have been exposing things. So, show her support. Go watch her latest live streams or videos or whatever they are. Go watch them because she wants to get to the bottom of it. She doesn't believe the official narrative. I do want to point out Officer Tatum's just buying this up like it's nothing. He just, oh, these are the text messages. Oh, I mean, come on, man. Are you dumb? Oh, wait, Officer Tatum. I used to like you, but recently, after the assassination with the whole Israel conspiracy theory, you said that you were a Christian Zionist. So, you're obviously bought and paid for now. Bought and paid for now, but, yeah, that's a shame. I used to like that guy, but he's just buying it up like nothing. Another one that doesn't make sense is Mark Dice is just believing the official narrative. It doesn't make sense to me because I didn't think he was bought out. But, I mean, come on. We have JFK, Martin Luther King. We have all these assassinations where the official narrative doesn't line up, with what probably actually took place. And these conservative influencers and people and news anchors and whatever else, they're just eating it up like, oh yeah, this is what it is. And, it's disgusting on that side too. I watched Owen Schroyer's live stream last night, and today he had an ex NYPD officer on his show, and they were talking about the NYPD officer obviously said the crime scene was tampered with. It was tampered with immediately, and now they have new things over it. Within a week, they totally redesigned the area and everything like that. But right after, they were taking down cameras, Charlie's crew, and picking up hats that were on the table, and just crazy stuff. They had cops at the scene right away because I believe Charlie always has cops at the events. I mean, not a lot, but he has a couple at every event because there's a lot of people. And the cops should immediately have gotten people out of there. They should have taped off the crime scene, not let anyone through, but instead people were just waltzing back and forth. They were destroying evidence and doing a bunch of stuff that doesn't seem right, especially for a public assassination. But any crime scene, they would do that. So, make it make sense. It does not. Alright. So, I am gonna play Jamie Lee Curtis. I don't know if you remember that bitch, but Jamie Lee Curtis. What can we say about you? Jamie Lee Curtis breaks down in tears hearing about the Charlie Kirk incident. But they know that they gotta say something because a bunch of people are celebrating it. I don't believe it for 1 second. I believe it's fake tears because Jamie Lee Curtis is part of the club. You know, you gotta be in the club. So here she is.
Charlie Crist was killed 2 days ago.
Charlie.
I'm sorry.
Kirk. Right?
Kirk. I just call him Crist. I think because of Christ, because of his deep belief. I mean, I disagreed with him on almost every point I ever heard him say.
Yeah.
But I believe he was a man of faith. And I hope in that moment when he died that he felt connected to his faith, even though I find his ideas were abhorrent to me.
Yeah.
I still believe he's a father and a husband and a man of faith, and I hope whatever connection to God means that he felt it. Yesterday was 9/11. I know there is video of his assassination. I know people who've seen it. Yesterday, we watched again these images of those buildings coming down. We as a society are bombarded with imagery. So we don't know what the longitudinal effects of seeing those towers come down over and over and over and over again, or watching his execution over and over and over again. We watched the Zapruder film, by the way, my birthday, November 22nd. I'm associated with this awful day of someone being assassinated on television. But it's, as you know, the Zapruder film is the only visual document that moves, that shares that horror of what happened. But here we have now these images.
All the time, every day.
And we are inured to them and we are numb to them, but they are in there. We don't know. We don't know enough psychologically about what that does. What does that do? That kind of, I don't ever want to see this footage of this man being shot.
I didn't watch it. I think it diminishes the depth of humanity.
So yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis breaking down in tears while probably secretly jumping up with joy, jumping up with joy. Because these people are sick. They just don't want the law to come after them. But yeah, I don't, kind of like what Owen Schroyer said in his live streams. I don't want to jump to any conclusions, any conspiracy theories, even though the official narrative doesn't make sense. You know, there's no evidence to say Israel's behind it. The weird thing is how Netanyahu went on Fox News and made it all about Israel, talking about free speech, and Charlie stood for free speech, this, that, and the rest. And, you know, they don't have free speech in Israel. So what does Netanyahu care about free speech? You know, like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You know, and also, he was the first one to tweet that Charlie Kirk was dead when people thought he was in critical condition. He tweeted at the same time as Trump. You know, so some things don't make sense on that front at all, but, you know, we're investigating, so we got to look at all angles and not jump to a single conclusion on that. But I am gonna show you a video, and the video it shows a flash, and it has a guy explain it, but there's a flash from a different angle than where the supposed shooter was, than where Tyler Robinson was on the parking garage roof. It was from a different angle. So the guy explains it. It's like a muzzle flash or something, but it's hard to tell if it's a reflection or if it's open air. So it could be open air, but it may be a reflection of something. So I'm gonna play that. Let me cue that up real quick. Alrighty, we got it going on. Alright, here we go.
I've been sitting back on this for a while with Charlie Kirk, y'all. Look, you see this little thing right here? Watch this.
Counting gang violence. Great.
See it?
Violence. Great.
Look at the flash.
Great.
See it?
Gang violence. Great.
From the same angle, y'all, the same direction. You see this little white dot right here? I'm not trying to spread conspiracies, but seriously, y'all heard the noise, you saw it. Now watch this right here, frame by frame, but it looks, if it's coming from his right, it just come on. Right here, watch. You can see it, the white dot. Ignore the guy right there. The white dot as it's coming. This is frame by frame. You see the white dot, then you see him move. You see him get hit. I'm just saying, man, there is a possibility. A lot of people are talking about it now, too. Looking back at this area, that would be where it was. So they're above everybody. It'd be coming down at the angle as far as I can tell. That's the flash right there. That flash lines up perfect with the sound. I'm just saying, it does.
Gang violence. Great. Violence.
Keep looking.
Great. Gang violence. Great. I'm counting gang violence.
See what I mean? So what do y'all think about that right there, man? The little white dot, you can save the video and do it yourself frame by frame. You see the white dot, and then you see him get hit. Then it's like boom, 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 like 3 frames. I mean, it's always the questions, never the answers, okay? Don't come attacking me in the comments either now. I don't want to hear it. We're all trying to figure out what's going on, and I've been more respectful than anybody, but this is something they need to look into.
So, it seems a bit weird. You know, there's also another video where it looks like a gun. And then there's a cop in the front row that does something with his sleeve. like right before. So there are weird anomalies going on with it. But yeah, the official narrative just doesn't make sense at all. So I think there is something else to it, especially since they tampered with the crime scene and it's completely gone. We didn't even hear if they found a bullet, casing, anything. Nothing. They don't know. Kash Patel is incompetent or he's in on it. It's one or the other. Either this is the most incompetent FBI and police investigation I've ever seen, or something else is going on. Who's to say? But it doesn't make sense. There are a lot of weird things. There was a video that Owen Schroyer showed on his live stream last night. And it was a guy going out, and looking at the area where that flash came from. And it was hard to tell if it was, because there were some like windows, but then it looked like there was open air in between. It was a little bit hard to tell. He couldn't even tell. He kept looking at it and he couldn't tell. But yeah, so the official narrative just doesn't add up to me. And most sensible people, I think, would agree that there is something that's not right with it, because you would close off the crime scene for sure. You would close it off. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. So I have a video here. Hold on. This video is a guy explaining exactly what went on. So I'll play it now. Like with Charlie Kirk and some of his donors in Israel, because Bill Ackman was a big donor and Candace Owens talked about him too, and he was frustrated at Charlie Kirk before the assassination. So I'm gonna play this guy explaining that.
Breaking news, we now know days before he passed away, Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA turned down $150 million from the Israeli government to have a more pro-Israeli stance. This includes money from Israeli billionaire Bill Ackman, who personally phoned Charlie Kirk to get mad at him for platforming people who disagreed with Israel, such as hosting a debate with Dave Smith, a Jew who does not like Israel. This angered a lot of Kirk's Israeli donors, particularly people like Bill Ackman, and this is why after the debate, we now know that the Israeli government was offering $150 million to Turning Point USA and Kirk, and a visit to Israel to meet personally with Netanyahu. But like I said, Kirk rejected this, and this is leading to a lot of rumors online regarding who could have done this. And don't forget about the report 3 weeks ago of a close friend of Charlie Kirk who said that he was afraid if he turned his mind on Israel that something like this would happen. Who do you think did it? Comment below and follow for updates.
So, yeah, Candace Owens talked about Bill Ackman being a little bit upset with Charlie, and she invited him on the show to clear the air, along with some other people that were involved that are pro-Israel. So, I think Bill Ackman has some explaining to do. I think he needs to publicly explain what exactly happened. Because if you have nothing to hide, Bill, then you might as well come out if people are pointing the finger at you. You know, that's just my take. If you have nothing to hide, you might as well come out. But he probably has something to hide. We know how these people operate. They'll just kill ya. If you speak out about Israel, they'll just gun you down in front of the whole world, won't they? I mean, I'm not making any claims as far as we know. It was a leftist terrorist attack. But I believe more people are involved. Oh, alright. So, I watched Candace Owens. I watched Candace Owens' latest live stream. And she said that what's that guy's name? Twigs, the trans man. Yeah, the trans man roommate. Yeah, she said his family reached out to her and she's been in contact with some of his family, and his family doesn't even believe the official narrative. And that's Twigs' family, not Robinson, but where Twigs and Robinson were living, that was owned by the family of Twigs. So Robinson paid Twigs rent, and then Twigs paid his family rent. Twigs' family doesn't even believe the narrative. They believe more people were involved, because neighbors, like days and weeks before the assassination, neighbors witnessed a bunch of cars coming and going from Twigs and Robinson's residence, which was unusual, Candace said, because they normally didn't have a lot of traffic coming and going, but they had a lot of traffic, a lot of cars. The neighbors couldn't even figure out where to park sometimes because they had a bunch of cars there and everything. So Candace is in contact with Twig's family members, and they don't even believe the narrative that we are given. They believe a lot more people are involved. So, yeah, there is an elephant in the room. There is an elephant in the room. Tell me why, when Trump was asked by a reporter the other day about how he's holding up because his good friend Charlie Kirk was assassinated, Trump said, "Very good, I believe." And then he went on to talk about the ballroom they're building. He's in the fourth stage of grave construction. He was asked a very specific question, how he's holding up, because him and Charlie Kirk were friends, how he's holding up. And he just glazed over the question, saying, "Very good, I believe." And then he went on to say, "Everyone wanted this ballroom and we're finally getting it done, and it's going to be the greatest ballroom ever. It's going to be so great." They weren't asking you about the ballroom, man. Come on. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense at all. Trump has some explaining to do about a lot of things, because I am not happy with what he has been doing. He didn't do what he said he would do. He didn't do what he said. He didn't end the wars in 24 hours like he promised. They're still going on. There's more wars now. You have Netanyahu acting like a crazy man. The UN even declared him dangerous, and Trump's inviting him to the White House next week. We want answers. We didn't vote for this. We want America first, not Israel first. You know, and I don't even care if I make MAGA supporters angry anymore. You know, I've spoken out about Trump before, and I voted for him twice. I didn't vote in 2016. I was in my 20s, and I wasn't political until COVID. But this is not what we voted for, Trump. This is not what we voted for at all. We didn't vote to make Israel great again. We voted to make America great again. So you have some explaining to do, Trump, and I am waiting. I would love for you to say you're wrong, but you won't. You know, we did not vote for this. We didn't vote for this. We voted to make America great again, not to make Israel go to war again. I mean, it is utterly pathetic. And I don't even care if people get mad, because a lot of people are turning on Trump because he hasn't done what he said he would do. They blocked releasing the Epstein files. Republicans blocked releasing the Epstein files. Not Democrats. Republicans blocked it on the day Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Something doesn't add up. You know, something doesn't add up. But yeah, I will keep you updated on everything. I do, if you made it this far, I probably should have gotten into it sooner. And I don't like grifting on someone's death, but when I was at Turning Point last year, I bought some deodorant called Masculine Man. So I bought the deodorant. It's mostly natural ingredients that aren't harmful to you. No harmful stuff that will irritate your skin. And they had an affiliate link when I went on their website. So I applied for the affiliate link because I've been wanting to get back into this for a while. It was just after Trump got in office, he wasn't doing what he said he would do. So I got a little bit discouraged, and I didn't want to come on here and trash Trump because my supporters would be Trump supporters, and I voted for him twice. But I do have an affiliate link. It is listed below in the description if you want to buy some for all you hunky men out there. I am going to show you the website just so you can see the website. Oh, that's Alpha Saver Pack. Now, they have a lot of different fragrance smells, and they smell good, honestly. They smell like cologne. They really smell good. It says what the ingredients are. So it has vitamin E, coconut oil, radish root ferment, candelia wax, jojoba oil. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but yeah, it has it's coconut oil, vitamin E, that's supposed to be good. I believe that is too. So it's a healthier deodorant. If anyone wants to go buy some, they smell really good, and I did buy it at Turning Point America Fest last year, and I signed up for the affiliate link because I liked it so much, and I wanted to get back into live streaming sooner. It was just after Trump got in, I got discouraged, and I didn't. But if anyone wants to support me, I do get a percentage if you hit the link below. I do get a percentage. And I hate selling stuff, but I'm trying to make a living doing this because I want to do in-person things too, not just sitting behind a computer like this, but I am going to be live streaming almost every day during the week, hopefully, until I build up a follower count, and then I can cut it back a little bit, do some in-person events. But if you're not followed or subscribed, follow me down below, because that doesn't cost you anything. If you follow me, it doesn't cost you a penny. Just follow me, and if you want, go buy some of that deodorant. It smells really good, and it is not irritating on the skin at all. So, yeah, and find me on social media. I have X, Instagram. I'm back on YouTube, but they don't show my content. So, yeah. But, yeah, that's all I got for today, ladies and gentlemen. And I will be back very soon. Have a blessed day. We're uncovering the truth here. No BS. I will not sugarcoat anything because I am not backed by anyone. So you only get my opinion and facts here. And yeah, have a good day.